welcome back to module function. So today I will just focus on a few questions that majority of the students actually choose not to answer, and some of you actually you are not sure how to do. So okay, I will discuss. Today I will focus on the hot question for function. As you nowadays, hot question must be actually occupy 50%, at least 50% of your exam. And normally for hot question, they will give you the application, okay? Application in our daily life. Alright, like example question that I would like to discuss is application of function in conversion of temperature. This is actually hot question, so you must actually get used to the hot question. I'm sure you will have to face the real situation whereby hot question is part of the exam. So whether you like it or not, you have to attempt. Okay, so it's better for you to practice now than you do during exam, isn't it? So that is why I'm giving you many questions to do, so that you get used to the hot question. So I actually flip through the working done by you. Quite many of you actually choose don't want to answer. When you see that there are so many wording, you actually don't like it. So you cannot have this kind of mentality. You must actually get used to hot question. Try to adapt to the new style of learning, whereby we have to try to answer a question by reading the problem given. Okay, the problem might be very long. It can be an essay. You have to get the information, understanding the question, right? So first step for hot question is, of course, understand the question. If you went through my video, I did use a UPIC for all the hot question. The first step is understand the question. U is understanding. I highlight again. So if you don't understand the question, how are you going to do? So basically, you have to spend some time for you to understand the question. So this is the most important step. Okay, that's why you is very important. You are so important. Okay, so I want you to make sure you really understand before you do. Okay, so you try to learn. You are still young. Okay, P is actually planning. So after you understand, then only you can plan. When you plan, that means you are going to write down what formula you want to use, right? Okay, so planning actually is involving formula or concept. So you plan how to do. Okay, and I is you start to substitute the value inside, implementing. Okay, I'm highlighting you the step to do hot. So when you see hot question, you don't have to worry. You follow the step. Step 1, understand. Step 2, planning. Step 3, implementing. And what is the last step? Step 4, I write here. Step 4 is actually we try to make a conclusion. Normally you have to write in a short sentence. Okay, maybe sometime we do comparison. They will ask you to compare, or maybe you have to do check your answer. Okay, so basically there are 4 steps for a hot question. Remember that 4 steps: U, P, I, C. Okay, so this is step 1. This is step 2, planning. Step 3 is implementing. Step 4 is checking. Okay, I actually highlighted this one many times. So now we want to understand the question. Temperature can be measured in degrees Celsius. You're a science student, right? I'm sure you know temperature can be expressed in how many Celsius and how many Fahrenheit. So the unit for Celsius is degree C and Fahrenheit is degree big letter F. Okay, sometimes we will use Kelvin, right? Kelvin. Okay, the function for converting how many Kelvin to Celsius is given by this formula. This is the first function. So we highlight the first function. And the function for converting the X Celsius to Fahrenheit is given by this formula. So that means we have two functions, you know. One of the function is converting Kelvin to Celsius. The other function will be converting Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Okay, Kelvin to Fahrenheit. So we have function number 1 and function number 2. Okay, this is function number 1, which is in blue. Function number 1. This is maybe function number 2. So they give you F and G, right? Okay, so the question for sure will ask you to apply, but they don't tell you whether they want you to find FG or GF, right? Now you see, at a certain time, the temperature at the peak of Mount Kinabalu is 41 Celsius. Find the corresponding temperature in Celsius. So as you see, if you really understand the function, it's like this. You have the Kelvin. Okay. Now you have the Kelvin. You want to convert to Celsius. You use F. This one. From Kelvin to degree Celsius is F, right? And then from the Kelvin to Fahrenheit, okay, we actually can write Kelvin to Fahrenheit, but from the Celsius you can convert to Fahrenheit also, right? So there is a relationship between the formula given. Then from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you are given the function gx, which is actually 9 over 5x plus 32. Okay, Kelvin to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so now the question says from Celsius to Fahrenheit you are given the G. See or not? Okay, so you have to draw out we call as, this is actually mapping, right? Alright, so from Kelvin to Fahrenheit we also can have the function GF, composite function. Okay, if you want to find the FG, also can, up to you. So if FG, that means you will do another mapping. This is GF. Okay, so now you have the conversion of the Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we use this one. So when you see Celsius to Fahrenheit, because the question is mentioned Fahrenheit and Celsius, so of course I will choose this function, right? This is something to do with Celsius and Fahrenheit. So I'm going to copy down. So let's copy down the, okay, is there actually, okay, now let me, so this is the one. This is conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So the question is asking you find the corresponding temperature in Celsius if it is 4 Fahrenheit. Okay, 4 Fahrenheit. So if you put the degree, how many degrees Celsius here? Let's say our room temperature is about, okay, our room temperature is about 30, let's say. So G 30 degrees Celsius. So we will take 9 over 5 times 30 plus 32. So you just add up 45 plus 32. So you can say our room temperature is actually 77 Fahrenheit. So that's how you do conversion. But now the problem is they give you Fahrenheit, they ask you to convert back. So what must you do? Of course you need to find the inverse function, right? Understand? You must understand the meaning of the function. It's like this. Let me find a space. Okay, if I want to draw the mapping for this one, I will draw this. This is, I must make sure you understand, so that you can do hot. If you don't understand the concept, you cannot do. So you see, if you do mapping, it's like this. And actually, the function is just like a formula, Okay, you want to convert to Celsius, right? To Fahrenheit. They give you the formula already. So you just jot down the formula. This is how you convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if let's say example lah, our you go and measure your temperature, right? Every time before you go to somewhere, like you go to school, you have to scan your temperature, isn't it? So let's say your temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. When you scan, I'm sure we are actually using Celsius, right? Every day. So 35 Celsius. So if I ask you how many Fahrenheit your temperature, so you say, oh, I know there is a function, there's a formula for me to convert. So G35. So then you substitute, okay, 9 over 5 times 35 plus 32, right? Got it? So then you simplify 63, something like that. So if you want to give me the answer for Fahrenheit, this is the answer. Okay? Clear? So that means you just use a formula. Function is just like a formula to convert 95. So for every particular function, specific function, sure they will give you the formula because it's actually one-to-one, one object, one image. You give a Celsius, it will give you one answer only, which is 95 degree Fahrenheit. That's function. So basically function is just like a formula for you to use. It's not tough, isn't it? So okay, now the question is asking you how to convert back the Fahrenheit back to Celsius. If I give you 95, how you do? How you find for me this answer, 35? So this one is actually inverse function, right? So you know how to find inverse function? So that's why when you see the question is asking reverse way, they give you image, ask you to find object. So you have to find inverse. So finding inverse is like this. We always use let y, isn't it? We have many way. So it's always a reverse way. If you plus, you become minus. You multiply, it become dy. Alright, but to make it simple, we always say, okay, you want to find inverse, you let gx equal to y. This is the most common way to do. We just follow the step because we knew that we are going to reverse back the function, right? So now we will actually solve y minus 32, 9 over 5x, and then you times to the 5y minus 32, 5y minus 32 times 5, what you get? Okay, you actually have to simplify to the simplest form, Okay, 160, right? Then is equal to 9x. Step by step you do. Okay, so don't give up, because actually when you know how to apply, then it will be more meaningful when you learn something. Okay, this is your answer. So you cannot leave your answer like that. You give answer like that, they won't give you any marks, So I'm going to write the symbol. how to write the symbol for inverse function. Just now we are given G, right? If you are given G, you use G. Okay, if you're given any symbol, you just use back that symbol. So this is actually the inverse function. It's very meaningful, isn't it? You can convert back the Fahrenheit into degree Celsius. Example, like just now I'm having how many for the 95, right? Fahrenheit. I want to know my temperature, which is in Celsius. So I will put the 95 Fahrenheit, which I got just now. And if I work out, I'm sure I will get back 35. You try? Okay, you try to press your calculator. So you must spend time to make sure you understand step by step all the concept, alright? So that you will be confident in exam. Are you getting 35 degrees Celsius? I'm sure you're getting back. So that is the so-called meaningful learning. You learn something that you can apply in your daily life. Okay, so the question is given you how many? They say the temperature at the Mount Kinabalu is how many? Let's see. Okay, 41, right? So 41, we want to find the corresponding temperature in Celsius. So that means we have to use the inverse, right? So where is our this is the inverse. So if you understand the question, you will just get the answer easily. This is 41, right? So you 5 times 41 minus 160 over 9. Okay, then you press the calculator. 5 times 41 minus 160 divided by 9. What is the temperature that you got in Celsius? This is Fahrenheit, right? Okay, this one is 5 degrees, so it's in Celsius because we are converting back Fahrenheit to Celsius, right? Understand? Okay, so you will expect more questions like this coming out in your exam soon. Okay, so now we will proceed to the next question. We haven't finished this question. Find the function for converting Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Kelvin to Fahrenheit, right? So let's see. We have okay, let me find a space. We have the Kelvin to, if you read the question, from Kelvin you convert to degree Celsius, right? There is a function given which is the F, isn't it? And then from the Celsius you convert to Fahrenheit. There is another function, right, which is G. You must understand this. They like to set question like this nowadays. They like to use the mapping, okay, like this. So they want you to understand the concept. Okay, so that means there is a formula for you to convert from Kelvin to Celsius, and then there is another formula. I say, if I say function you lost, so I say formula you like it. There is another formula convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, which is G, right? It was given in the question. Celsius to Fahrenheit is G, so I write the function is given by Gx is, what is the Gx given? Let me write now. Write down the Gx is 9 over 5x plus 32. This is the function given in the question. Okay, and the question is saying that the function to convert Kelvin to Celsius is given by the other function. Let me copy down. The other function is f, so fx. It was given in the question, right? You can read the question. Let me show you. Okay, see, the question say the temperature can be measured in degrees Celsius. Okay, the function converting Kelvin to Celsius, see or not? Let me highlight. Kelvin to Celsius is given by this function. Okay, and then the function that convert the Celsius to Fahrenheit. Just now it was Kelvin to Celsius. Now Celsius to Fahrenheit is given by this function. Okay, so I actually jot down the information and I write in a we call as mapping diagram. Okay, arrow diagram. You see, I draw the arrow. Some of you, your arrow diagram no arrow, so they will give you wrong because it's not a diagram, it's an arrow diagram. Okay, now the question is asking what? Find the function that convert Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Kelvin to Fahrenheit. That means, let's see the diagram. Kelvin to Fahrenheit. That means the question one this, right? So this is actually a GF, right? It's not FG, it's GF. Function is always go against the order. So if you see this one is F, this one is G. If you use one function, we call as composite function. It's actually we start with a G followed by F. All right. So GF. So it's the function G. The second function will bring the first function to the image. Got it? You have to accept this. Okay. So I hope you understand. I purposely slow down and explain to you so that you can understand the concept. Okay, so this is GF. You have to accept that the order is opposite. Okay, now we are going to find the GF. Okay, so how to find the GF? Of course, we will substitute the F into the G. So we will use this function as our function. So we copy G, something is 9/5, right? Function GF, right? Okay, what we are going to substitute into the object there? Of course, the object here is fx. So here, as I say, you must substitute the function itself, which is right, go to the right. This is called right. Left, go to the left, right? As I mentioned earlier. Many of you actually, you give your answer without simplify. So in SPM exam, how they give mark for your answer? If let's say this question is 3 marks, you will get 1 mark. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe you'll get 1 mark out of 3 marks because you never simplify. So if let's say the student simplify like this, okay, she will just multiply the 9 times, she just write like this, okay, plus 32. How many marks do you think she will get? She is still getting 1 mark. Okay, basically when you do additional maths, you must really make sure your answer is actually simplified to the simplest form. That is the principle that we use when we want to give marks to the student in exam, in SPM exam. I tell you first, all right, because many students actually lost their mark easily. So because they actually maybe they don't know the technique, so you just write like this, 2297/5. Is this answer considered the simplest answer? Some of you might wonder whether I shall leave answer like this or like this. Many students will wonder which one is a better answer. If you ask me, I will say this one is the best answer. Okay, this is the best answer, and you will actually given full marks. You will be given full marks for this. So that means this is actually the function. They will use it to convert the Kelvin directly. Okay, how many Kelvin? Then you substitute the Kelvin here, and you will get the answer, which is in Fahrenheit. So it's actually very meaningful because you can get a formula whereby you have to just substitute the answer into there. You don't have to do 2 times, and you'll get the answer directly in actually Fahrenheit. Okay, got it. So this is the right answer. Many students chose no idea how to do. You never try. Maybe you are I think you don't like this question. Am I right? So I hope that you will like this question, because it's actually very meaningful for you to learn something that you can apply in your daily life. Okay, so that is my sharing about hot question in function. So I'm going to actually discuss one more question, which is actually hot question. Okay, so actually function is the most important topic in additional maths, that's why function is the basic for all the topic. So that's why you have to start with the function, and I spent quite long for function to teach you function. Okay, now I would like to discuss this one, which is also the hot question. So Mr. Ravi is a roti canai hawker. Nowadays, this kind of question very popular. They like to give you story, or maybe a short essay like this. Okay, Mr. Ravi is a roti canai hawker. The daily, you see, when you read, because there are too many information, so we always highlight the keywords, because it's that particular keywords that will actually cause us fail to get the answer sometimes. So daily profit is given this by this function, so we highlight, this function is one day profit how much, okay, so it's per day. Then X is the number of roti canai, very important keywords, number of roti canai. That means if you sell, let's say you sell 10 roti canai, okay, so you know how to calculate. Okay lah, my profit for today, 60 minus 42. Okay, take the calculator. 60 minus 42 divided by 5. Okay, I only get profit 3 ringgit 60 cents if I sell 10 roti canai in a day. So poor thing. 10 roti canai only 3 ringgit 60 cents. So I must sell how much? No, I have to increase the quantity. Maybe I sell, let's say, one day I have to make 100 lah, let's say. If I sell 100 roti canai, wow, you just imagine 100 roti canai, you will be very exhausted, very tired to do all the roti canai. So your profit is, if you, let's say you change to 100 lah, you are hawker, you want to calculate, if I try my best, I do 100 roti canai, I only earn 1.6. Okay lah, not bad. One day can earn 100 something. That's good. Okay, that's a meaning lah of the function. Isn't it very meaningful? Okay, now what the question say? Let's read the question. The average daily profit. You're asking to find, isn't it? Determine the average daily profit. This is what the question want, right? Okay. Obtained by Mr. Ravi if he has sold 231 roti canai. Haven't finished the story. In a week. Now you see that is a very important keywords. In a week. So 1 week is actually how many days? So we want, just now the formula is daily, right? So now we try to divide by 7. Obviously 1 week is actually 7 days, so we divide by 7, so you get 33. That means 1 day average is actually 33 only, the number of roti canai. So we will substitute F33 is 6 times 33 minus 42 over 5. So times 6 minus 42 divided by 5. So the answer is 31.2. 31 ringgit 20 cents. So this is the average profit obtained by Mr. Ravi. Okay, alright, understand? Okay, so now we will proceed to the next one, which is the minimum number of roti canai that must be sold a day so that Mr. Ravi would not experience any losses. Okay, so since this is a profit function, so we jot down, okay, this one is the profit function. So the profit function, of course, is a function that will tell Mr. Ravi about the profit, daily profit, right? So now you just, many students don't want to do this. I don't know why. Okay, I think you feel that you don't understand the question because there is a word minimum, right? Okay, you know when you want to make profit, okay, you must have at least earn a few cents, right? So if the Mr. Ravi would not experience any losses, so what actually you will write for fx? Of course, you might put 0. It's quite okay for me, but it's not so logic. It doesn't mean that 0 means you know, the question say would not experience any losses, so it should be at least earn more than 0, or can be equal to 0, because if equal to 0 means no loss, right? There's no loss, it can be 0. So it must be at least more than or equal 0, should be this way. Then you try to solve. It seems like very simple. 5 times 0, inequality, right? When you see minimum, maximum, least, the least, the most, all are actually using inequality, right? So that means your x, the number of roti canai, should be at least 7. At least 7. Okay? So if at least 7, so we want the minimum number of roti canai. So you must tell minimum, of course, you must know 7 onwards are 7, 8, 9, 10. So minimum should be 7. Minimum of number of roti canai, it should be equal. When we see number of, it should be equal to, should be 7. So that Mr. Ravi would not experience any, we write in words normally when come to roti canai is 7, so that Mr. Ravi would not experience any losses. Okay, so this is actually conclusion, you see or not? So this is a hot question. So normally they would like you to write a statement or sentence to conclude, to make a conclusion. Alright, so that's all my sharing about the hot question regarding function. Till then, I shall see you in my next video sharing. Bye bye and have a nice day.